What's going on, folks? I'm AutoMattock. We're gonna talk about Roundhouse Shunpukyaku. It's very cheap, so I had to make a video completely isolated in talking about this special move from Sakura. Now, I went over it briefly in the Sakura 101 video, and I actually accidentally comboed into it from standing hard punch, and I didn't realize you could do that. So then I started going down the line of how I can get to the standing hard punch comboing into the Roundhouse Shunpukyaku, right? And that unraveled a whole slew of events that I feel is very cheap for Sakura. And so we're gonna talk about Tatsu by itself. We're gonna talk about that move's attributes and the method of contacting your opponent with that, and it has a lot to do with that standing hard punch comboing into it. So this move itself is quite slow. It's 25 startup, so if you're using it in the neutral, you're not gonna exactly hit it without something behind it, like an intention. Like you're gonna intentionally go over lows. If you think Bison or Vega, if they're gonna mash on a slide, you still have to do it very proactively. You have to do it way before they even slide, and then it can avoid the slide for it's as if it crushes lows. Since she's airborne, it still hits your opponent in the air. So at 25 frames, it's not something that's incredible in the neutral, but it's not something bad either because it is safe on block. It's -2, and if you're one of those, you know, one of those individuals that like to do crazy things, -2 still means you have options. If you have meter, the EX DP, that will go through somebody who's trying to take advantage of their of your disadvantage. Not something I advocate, but it's there. And then if you get them to respect that you might EX DP, and you can do your 3 frame, etc., etc. Street Fighter 5. So that's what happens if the Tatsu is blocked. Now, if the Roundhouse Tatsu is hit, this is where it gets really special. We'll say special. Now, in the other video, I talked about being in throw range, and her line attacks aren't really able to do that unless you put something. You have to be close to your opponent and have the right frame advantage. So now you need to be +2, +3, or +4, and close enough if you want to have a throw frame trap. Sakura doesn't have that with her standing or crouching jab. She has to work in frame trap so she can actually throw her opponent. Roundhouse Tatsu bypasses that idea because she is in range and she's at the right frame advantage. So right now I'm at +2 if this hits, and I can throw them. That's very cheap. If you compare this to knocking somebody down, they have normal and back recovery. So I still have to make a decision based on what I see. I have to react. In some cases, I have to guess. Well, actually, in a lot of cases, I have to guess which knockdown they will use if I'm using a slower button. But with this Roundhouse Tatsu, it's always going to be that. It's always going to be in this +2 reset state. So, what can you do at +2? Now, standing medium punch is 5 frames. It's great. You can link into crouching medium kick, back hard punch. Those all work. So you'll have something that looks like this. Medium punch into back hard punch, and then EX Tatsu. That knockdown's also great. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. But you have that medium punch. Now, if they backdash, your medium punch will reset because you're only +2. Their backdash, you'll contact their backdash on the 3rd frame, and that'll cause a reset state. So if you do something like medium punch and then back hard punch, or even standing hard punch, then you're gonna be in a recovery state, and they're gonna be landing. They'll be able to punish you. They'll backdash and then mash, you know, X, whatever X is. They'll mash it in Street Fighter 5. So what you can do to prevent them from backdashing and mashing is standing jab, because it's 1 frame faster. So you can do Roundhouse Tatsu, and that'll frame trap them. You can link that into standing light kick. In fact, I think you can do 2 standing jabs, but it might depend on which character you're playing against. Someone like Laura might be able to be pushed back too far away, in which case you probably can only do 1 repetition there. And of course, you can throw them at +3. You can throw. Excuse me, +2. You can throw them. And then you got the old throw situation. This is not bad. Maybe I'll describe it a bit later. But her throw isn't as bad as I thought it was. This is +13. You can't really dash up, but you can walk up and do a couple things. But again, this Roundhouse Tatsu, you got the jab, medium punch. If you feel like your opponent, if you got a read on your opponent's backdash, you can do back hard punch, and that'll rush counter their backdash. But it does leave a 5 frame window, I believe, so they can throw you, and they can mash on a 3 or 4 frame move. So the back power punch will lose in that situation, but it will crush counter their backdash. So on paper, I think the best things to do, at least for starting off until you understand how your opponent behaves, is to do the standing jab or the throw again. But if you get a counter hit standing medium punch, guess what you can link it to? Standing hard punch. Guess what that standing hard punch goes into? Roundhouse Tatsu. So boom, boom. And then that counter hits them again. You have the same +2 situation on hit. That is cheap. So there's more ways you can get into this standing hard punch, this standing hard punch into the roundhouse Tatsu. So it's almost as if it kind of loops into each other. So we're gonna go over some examples. I'll give you 2 examples of how you can get to this situation. And one of them includes a way to get the standing medium punch meaty, so that you don't even need counter hits to combo into standing hard punch. Right? This doesn't combo normally, but if I do hard punch DP against normal recovery, that hits meaty. Let me turn this off so I can demonstrate. That is a meaty standing medium punch that links into standing hard punch, which will go into roundhouse Tatsu. Alright? This is against normal recovery. Let me do it one more time so I can verify and demonstrate. There we go. That looked better. Yeah, that's alright. So then this goes back into that situation that I described earlier. Again, this is normal recovery. So then the question becomes, how do I land hard punch DP? And there you have the crouching medium kick. There's ways of confirming into it, medium punch into crouching medium kick, or even back hard punch. You can do that if you feel it's the right choice. And you have this medium punch here. Or, or EX Tatsu off of this low fork against their normal recovery. That'll lead into a meaty standing jab, which leads into medium punch, which leads into crouching medium kick into this hard punch DP. And then I get that second active frame, or third active frame standing medium punch, which leads into that hard punch. So you have a variety of ways of leading into a counter hit or a meaty standing medium punch that leads into that hard punch, which leads into the roundhouse Shunpukyaku, and then Reset City. And yeah, it's really cheap. I don't know if, man, it's like a weird thing with this character. She does feel pretty mundane, boring to me, but it's really cheap at the same time. But that's it for now. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I really would like to know what people think about the interest level of this character. Is she fun? Is she is it good to see her? Is it not what you expected? I'm really interested in that dialogue. But let me know, like and subscribe. I hope you learned something. I'm AutoMattock.